there and hit that drop shot. There you go, folks. Little buck bass. Here at Lake Pleasant. There we go, get up in here. Get up in here. Look at that, folks. A little chartreuse tail on that worm. Right there, the bass are starting to move up right here at beautiful Lake Pleasant. And I'll tell you, we went all the way back where the river was and it was muddy back in there. I mean, muddy, muddy. And I thought, man, I gotta get in that clear water. I love to see them start getting up and roaming around. And right now with that water temperature being about 55 degrees, you might have some getting up real shallow. And this time of year, I really, really love coming down to Lake Pleasant. It is so much fun. The water here on the main lake is just ultra clear. And I love that ultra clear water. And with that, you know, we can finesse them a little bit. We can throw some heavy gear if we need to, if we see them up, you know, staying in one area. But this is the time of year that these bass start moving up in the shallows, start roaming, looking for spots to make beds. It's late March. We've had a lot of weather come through this time of year. And I'm gonna tell you something. Everything's been pushed back, but it doesn't mean that at 55-degree water, they won't start moving up and making beds. It depends on the moon phase, you know? We got about another week or two before the moon's full, so these fish should start moving up and making beds. But just the roaming fish, and that's what I'm seeing now. I've got a good pair of polarized sunglasses. I'm up, and I'm just kind of looking to see if I see fish roaming, and I'm throwing right up in front of them. One of the best baits you can throw right up in front of them is a drop shot. You know, we're throwing a little morning dawn worm with a chartreuse tip tail, and it's great for clear water here at Lake Pleasant, and a little 1/4 ounce drop shot. That's what we're throwing today, and so far. And I'll be changing up probably throughout the day, possibly. But right now, I just wanted to get out, catch a few fish, have a little fun, be able to see the fish, run over and grab the bait. That's so much fun. I love that kind of stuff. But we'll kind of roam around the bank. There's a lot of boats on the water. It's actually a Tuesday. And I think we're at the end of spring break. But I'll tell you, with the water temperatures being as cold as they are, with all the rain and snow we've had and the runoff, it's going to be a little tough until, you know, here we hit in April. We're going to start really seeing these fish move up, and it's going to get warm quick. So you can get out and have a lot of fun shallow water fishing. You can get out of those deep water haunts and start moving to the shallows, because I'll tell you, it becomes a lot of fun. But we'll just roam around here. I saw another one roaming around, and what they're doing is they're just swimming around. They're coming out of the big depths of water. You gotta kind of somewhat be stealthy because they're spooky. And the one thing that's real important with the type of fishing I'm doing that I caught that fish was, when I see the fish, I just throw way up in front of it and let it swim to the bait. Don't throw on top of the fish. That's very important to remember to do stuff like that when you're fishing and you actually see the fish. If you throw on top of it, it'll spook. Throw way up in front of it, kind of figure out where that fish is swimming, and odds are you can probably catch him. Got him. I got that one right out in front of him. Look at that fish. I love that clear water. Come on, son. Oh, and he took that bait. That is the power of a drop shot in the clear water, man. When you see fish roaming around, oh my goodness. They can't stand that little weightless thing. Another little buck bass here at Lake Pleasant, but a fun bass. Yeah, look at that. Look how clear that water is. You know, that's the thing, is we're running around and we're just seeing the fish kind of swimming up. And if you get that bait out there in front of them like that and it falls down, and then you drop your rod tip and let the bait just kind of flutter down towards the weight and then kind of ease it up a little bit like that, a lot of times they just can't stand it. They run right over there and grab it. Lots of fun. Oh my goodness, that's fun. You know, I'm throwing the straight tail too. I'm not throwing the curl tail today, only because, you know, with that real subtle and they're real spooky, you'll notice that if you have your trolling motor on high and they're spooking all over the place, when they get shallow, they're first coming out of the cold depths of water like that, you got to be real stealthy as you can be. They know you're there, but you know, if you make too many moves or if you throw stuff around in the boat and they hear all that clanking and stuff, they get real skittish. So in saying that, you want to make sure that you give yourself the best opportunity. And if you see them start running out, just throw way up in front of them. A lot of times you'll just feel the bite. You won't even see you'll see the fish kind of swimming real slow when they're moving up like that. And as you throw out and the bait hits the water, you'll see this. And they'll just start swimming a little faster and you're like, oh, hold on, hold on. That's what happened to that one. And doink, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. This is a time of year too when you're getting shallow where you, like I said, the polarized sunglasses mean more to me than the graphs at this point. What I'm looking for is good warm water temperature, and I'm getting up shallow where I can see with my eyes, not my graphs at this point. So, you know, it's a lot of fun. See him swimming right out in front of me. Got him. Oh, that's a good one, folks. Come on. I saw you swimming by that tree. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Ah, you can't resist that, can you? Ah, these fish haven't even made beds yet. They're just swimming alongside the bank right here. They're heading back to the backs of these cuts like this. Let me let him go. And I'm watching them, and I see them migrating around a little bit, and all they're doing is looking. And you know, it is so much fun. You got to throw something out there. You know what else would work really good probably? Would be a Ned rig too. But there's just something to be said about the drop shot rig for doing this kind of fishing. I really like it. When I'm hunting early in the season like this, looking for those shallow bass, even though they haven't made beds and they're just getting ready to get up and do all that stuff, man, I'm telling you, just watching them roam, watching them, you know, just, it's a lot of fun. But you got to throw way out in front of them. And what I mean by way out in front of them, a lot of times it's about 5 feet, you know, in that area or more, and let them swim to it. Oh, it is so much fun. I saw him dart, and I'm like, he's gonna hit it. A lot of times you don't see them hit the bait because your bait's out there a little farther than normal, but that little chartreuse tail, they see that, boy, they're all over it. It's fun. Got him. That one was hanging under a tree. I saw him sitting there. I saw you sitting there, buddy. Oh, you're all frisky. Hold on a minute now. Here's something really important to remember when you're doing this kind of fishing. Another little book biz. Females haven't really moved up too much, but boy, it sure is fun to see fish shallow. You know, anytime you're going down a bank, especially something like this, once in a while you'll see a hard piece of wood. You need to make sure you take both angles, go down and come back. If you don't see nothing underneath that thing, especially if you're not getting a good glance at it, you're gonna have to sometimes look back. I have seen so many fish a lot of times when I'm sight fishing or if I see fish shallow to where I didn't think there was anything by that tree or over the overhang or anything, but at a different glance, at a different angle, a lot of times if you look back, the sun shines just right, you can see them just barely up underneath there. They hide pretty good. So, you know, I went back and forth on this thing because I knew I had seen one sitting by a tree, and I found that tree and I'm like, all right, because there was 4 or 5 of those trees. I knew there had to be one in there. But it's always good to always look back up underneath. Don't just assume as you go by that there's nothing up underneath there. We call those kind of fish ghost fish. And I'll tell you what, you'll catch a lot more fish if you just kind of look back underneath that cover once in a while, because bass love cover. Okay, so what we've done is we've come across, I found one little bedfish it looks like over here, but what's really cool about the drop shot, what makes this bait so versatile, is today we've been throwing it with a little bit longer leader because I've been chasing fish, and the fish I've been throwing out in front of the fish and they've been eating it. And coming across this, I want to show you how versatile a drop shot can be for you. Now what we're going to do is if I'm going to fish right on the bed with a drop shot, I'm not going to use a long leader. I want to shorten that leader up. So what we're going to do is shorten the leader. Let me get that down. Cut this down, okay? Let's shorten that leader up. Now you're gonna be shocked at where I shorten this up to, but you want this just right almost on the ground. So I'm gonna bring it up to about there, and then about there. Okay, that's about where I want that. Now here's what else I'm gonna do. I wanna be able to see the fish eat the bait, right? This will be a little bit harder. Look how short I've made that drop shot. Now watch this. I'm gonna take this worm off, and I've got me a real bright colored one, just like that, little 4-inch, and I'm gonna just put that right on. And what this does, it allows you to see what's going on at all times around your lure in this clear water. I'm using the same number 1 hook, little rebarb hook. Okay, and then we're gonna stick that in there. Now we've got our bait right there. Now I'm gonna throw that in there, and that weight's gonna sit on the bottom, and I'm just gonna jiggle this a little bit and let it fall to the bottom, bring it back up. I wanted something really small and subtle, something that doesn't, you know, spook the fish too much. And we're gonna throw right out there and see if we can get him to bite. Just by changing your drop shot a little bit, sometimes it can make a big difference when you're doing this kind of fishing, because you want it right almost on the bottom. Let's see if we can get him to come back. They're real skittish this time of year. They're just now getting up. I mean, I've spent all day looking for this fish, or looking for a fish like this. A lot of them have been roaming. Oh, I had him. Dadgummit, I had him. Do it again. Well, my jaws were jerking on that one. See if he comes back here. Hope he didn't feel the hook. That's all I care about. Darn it. He ate it right off the bat, but we're gonna change this over to a longer one and see if that'll make him get a little bit more aggressive. Got him, I got him. I got him! I got him! Now that took a little patience, but doing those little tricks like that really made the difference. And I'll explain that as soon as we get him in and let him go, that little book bass. I found one! What a fun fish. So, what we did there, I'll let him go. Look at his eyes, red. Woo, he was hot, hot. So what we did was we shortened that leader up, made a big difference. Now, I hooked him with the little bait that I had going on. Well, didn't hook him, but he bit at it and I missed him and I couldn't get him to come back to it. So what I did was went a little more aggressive and decided to go with the longer worm, and that longer worm turned out that was the ticket to get him to bite off that. It was a little bit bigger, and I don't know what he was thinking. He's like, I don't know if I stretched that thing out when I bit it or not, but he went after it. Little things like that make a big difference, but that short leader like that, right on top of the bed like that, that really gets them good. You know, if we're out drop shot normally, you want to throw a leader about, 12 inches or 14 inches, something like that. But man, I'll tell you, when you're right there, you can go this or shorter with your drop shot and catch a lot of fish on it. It's very versatile. You can have a lot of fun with this rig. This technique is not just for deep water. You can fish it year round, 12 months of the year. That's why it's probably Arizona is one of the top-notch things to go to day in and day out to catch fish on a regular basis. You know, a lot of this, what I call chasing the bass, all it is, when we're going down the bank, is we're real shallow. We want to see if we can see fish, see what they're doing. But with me being shallow, a lot of times you're spooking fish that are coming up shallow and they're wanting to move forward and they're just kind of slowly moving through. If you're not doing 100 miles an hour, if you just kind of got your trolling motor and you're looking and you're just moving forward, that's the chasing the fish that I'm talking about. And that way, when you run over them and you know that you're on top of them, they see you, you see them, you can throw way up in front of them and it distracts them and basically they go chase that lure down. It's one of the techniques that I do during the spring when I'm actually trying to sight fish or look for bed fish or fish that are on nests or something. And it's just one of those deals to where if they're not, I'll still keep going shallow because I love looking in the clear water and the fish will start moving down. And I can catch those fish normally. Not, you know, you're gonna catch probably, I don't know what the percentage is on it, but you're gonna catch quite a few doing it all day long if this is what you're doing, especially if you're looking and you just see them swimming out in front of you. The main key with all this though is very important, is to be sure that you throw way out in front of the fish. I can't tell you enough about how important that is when you're trying to catch these fish. If you land right on it, it's gonna totally spook the fish and it won't be ready to eat anything at that point. You'll spook it. But if you throw way out in front while they're moving slow and you haven't spooked the fish, those fish are a lot easier to catch. Hey folks, a great tip for this kind of fishing that we're doing. This time of year when the bass move shallow, they're trying to find a way to make beds, they're actually moving in to make beds. And when they're roaming like that and they get into areas where they are making beds, the one thing they can't stand is perch or bluegill. So you may want to change some stuff up from going from shad type patterns to more perch or bluegill type patterns. And one thing I really recommend when you're throwing whatever color worm you want to throw, make sure you use either a chartreuse dip or you can buy them now with the tips already chartreused. But you want a little tiny chartreuse tip. All the bluegills or the perch seem to have that little chartreuse tip at the end of their tail. And I'll tell you, that really aggravates the bass and they seem to thump it and hit it a lot harder and you'll catch more fish that way. Well, the one thing we learned today is there's a lot of males starting to move up, which is fun. Caught some fun fish. I love getting up shallow. You can do it too. And I'll tell you what, it's that time of year where the fish move shallow. The fishing should be a lot of fun. But take this note, man, I'll tell you, you can catch those bass when they're roaming down the bank. It's just, you gotta adjust your technique a little bit and how you approach the fish, and you can definitely catch those running fish. Hey, thanks for joining us on the show today. We'll catch you next week. I'm Johnny Johnson.
Now, see, that's what I'm talking about, folks.